Stop waiting months for your soil to wake up when the trigger for explosive life is already sitting in your kitchen and almost nobody is using it the right way. Most gardeners stand over their beds every season hoping for richer growth, stronger stems, deeper green leaves, and heavier harvest. They add compost, they buy fertilizers till they water, and still the soil feels dull, tight, and lifeless. What they do not realize is that soil does not respond to products, it responds to biology. It responds to energy, it responds to food beneath. Every healthy garden is an invisible workforce made up of bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and countless microscopic organisms constantly eating, multiplying, and transforming dead matter into nutrients plants can actually absorb. When that living network is weak, the soil becomes compact, slow, and unproductive. Roots struggle, microbial diversity shrinks, nutrient cycling stalls. Now imagine being able to activate that underground world in just days instead of waiting an entire season. The difference between dead dirt and living soil can be as simple as how you use rice. At its core, rice is stored energy. It is packed with starch, and starch is one of the most powerful microbial fuels available. When microbes encounter accessible starch, they break it down into sugars, then use that energy to multiply rapidly. As their populations expand, they unlock nutrients, improve soil aggregation, and rebuild the soil food web. But here is where everything changes. The way starch's structure determines how quickly microbes can use it, and that is why raw rice and cooked rice behave completely differently once they enter the soil. If you scatter raw, uncooked rice into your garden, do not expect immediate transformation. Raw rice is physically tough. The starch inside each grain is tightly packed in crystalline structures that are difficult for most microbes to penetrate. Only certain fungi and specialized bacteria can begin breaking it down, and even they require moisture, time, and patience. As the soil stays damp, the grains slowly soften. Fungi begin colonizing the surface, extending microscopic filaments and releasing enzymes that gradually dissolve the starch layer by layer. This process can take weeks, sometimes even months, before visible change appears. The grains remain recognizable for a long time, acting like slow-burning fuel, quietly feeding microbial communities in the background. That is not a weakness. It is simply a different strategy. Raw rice behaves like a long-release energy bar for soil biology. It continues supplying food long after quick sources are gone. It supports fungal networks and helps sustain microbial populations steadily over time. But if you're looking for dramatic activity in a matter of days, raw rice will test your patience. Now shift your focus to what happens when rice is cooked. Heat and water completely transform its structure. During cooking, the starch granules absorb water, swell, and lose their crystalline form. This process, called gelatinization, breaks open the tight structure and converts the starch into a soft, expanded, easily digestible mass. To microbes, this is not a locked vault anymore. It is an open buffet. When cooked rice is buried a few inches beneath the soil surface, something remarkable begins. Within 24 to 48 hours, microbial activity surges. You may notice a faint sour scent. As fermentation begins, tiny air pockets may form. As gases are released, white, fuzzy fungal growth can spread across the grains. Bacterial colonies multiply at explosive speed because the energy is instantly available. By the third or fourth day, the rice often becomes almost unrecognizable. It collapses into a dense microbial mass. The soil immediately surrounding it becomes darker, looser, and more active. The transformation is visible and undeniable. Cooked rice does not whisper to the soil, it shouts. Side-by-side comparisons make the difference obvious. After 2 weeks, raw rice often still looks mostly intact, while cooked rice can disappear in less than a week, consumed by thriving colonies feeding aggressively on the accessible starch. There is, however, an important limitation. Because cooked rice is so easy to digest, microbes consume it rapidly. The burst of activity is intense, but short-lived. Within 1 to 2 weeks, most of the food is gone and microbial populations stabilize again. That means cooked rice works best as a kickstarter, not a permanent solution. If your compost pile feels sluggish, cooked rice can jump start. If your garden beds feel biologically inactive before planting, cooked rice can ignite the system. If you want to wake dormant microbes, quickly cooked rice delivers results. You can actually see understanding this difference changes everything. Soil health is not about randomly adding organic matter. It is about timing energy release. It is about matching the right food source to the biological outcome you want. Raw rice builds slowly. Cooked rice activates rapidly, and when you understand that, contrast, you stop guessing and start managing soil life with intention. In the next phase, we will go even deeper and uncover the middle path that combines speed with stability and gives you one of the most powerful homemade soil inoculants you can create. What if the most powerful soil booster is not something you bury at all, but something you brew between the slow, steady feed of raw rice and the explosive burst of cooked rice? There exists a third method that many growers overlook, and it may be the most balanced approach of all. Fermented rice water. Instead of placing solid grains into the soil, you extract the starch and allow beneficial microbes to multiply inside a liquid solution. This creates a living inoculant that can be applied directly to the root zone, delivering active biology without attracting pests or creating uneven decomposition pockets. The process is simple, but the results can be profound. Take 1 cup of uncooked rice and rinse it with 2 cups of clean water. Stir thoroughly to release surface starch. The water will quickly turn cloudy. That cloudiness is suspended starch and trace nutrients. Strain the liquid into a jar and cover it loosely so air can move in and out. Leave it at room temperature for 3 to 5 days. During this period, naturally occurring microorganisms, especially lactic acid bacteria, begin multiplying inside the starchy liquid as they consume available sugars. They produce mild organic acids and beneficial compounds. You will know fermentation is underway when the smell shifts from neutral to slightly sour, not rotten, but pleasantly tangy. Before applying, this liquid must be diluted. Mix 1 part fermented rice water with 10 parts clean water. This ensures the microbial population integrates gently into the soil without overwhelming the existing balance. Once diluted, you can pour it directly around plant roots or use it as a soil drench across garden beds. Unlike burying rice grains, there is minimal risk of attracting rodents or insects, and the microbes are delivered exactly where they are needed. Fermented rice water acts as a steady biological refresher. It does not create the sudden spike of cooked rice, nor does it wait weeks like raw rice. Instead, it provides moderate activation along with beneficial bacterial inoculation that can help suppress harmful organisms and improve nutrient cycling. Used every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season, it maintains microbial diversity and keeps the soil food web energized without dramatic boom and bust cycles. Now the strategy becomes clear. If you need an immediate surge before planting or to revive a stagnant compost pile, choose cooked rice and bury it a few inches deep. Think of it as a biological ignition switch. If your goal is long-term conditioning and fungal support, bury small amounts of raw rice deeper in the soil where it can decompose, gradually feeding microbes for months. If you want consistent, balanced activation with minimal risk, use fermented rice water as a regular soil drench. The reason cooked rice produces such explosive results comes down to structure. Raw starch granules are densely packed and resistant to attack. Cooking breaks those granules apart, transforming them into a gel-like matrix that microbes can digest instantly. That same structural change explains why cooked food spoils faster than raw food. Once the protective structure is gone, microbes move. And without hesitation, soil organisms are opportunistic. Give them easily accessible energy, and they multiply rapidly, expanding the entire underground ecosystem as their populations grow. They improve soil aggregation, enhance nutrient availability, and stimulate root interactions. The verdict becomes simple: for fast, visible microbial activation, cooked rice delivers unmatched speed. For slow, sustained feeding, raw rice supports long-term biological stability. For balanced, ongoing inoculation, fermented rice water bridges both worlds, offering control, consistency, and reduced risk. This is not complicated chemistry. It is understanding how structure controls accessibility and how accessibility controls biological response. The next time you prepare rice in your kitchen, do not see it as just food for yourself. See it as fuel for the unseen world beneath your garden. Because when soil life thrives plants respond with stronger growth, deeper roots, and greater resilience. Healthy soil is not built by chance, it is activated by design, and sometimes the most powerful tool is already in your pantry, waiting to be used wisely.